Hello everybody, Ollamh here, and welcome back to The Lost Cases of Sherlock Holmes. This time we are looking at the 8 Clocks Assassin. In Holmes' most explosive case, who is sending the detective on a strangely familiar treasure hunt? Time is running out for Holmes and for England. This one has a 35-minute time limit.
I'm appalled, Inspector Lestrade. With 8 ill-tempered ambassadors from 8 foreign nations gathering at the Houses of Parliament for a peace conference at 8 o'clock this evening, why aren't you doing something more useful than bothering me and Dr. Watson?
That's exactly the problem, Mr. Holmes. With Scotland Yard's best men joining the Metropolitan Police on duty protecting the conference, I'm left with a staff shortage, as it were. Besides, I bring a case that will interest you particularly. In fact, you're already involved in it.
What do you mean we're already involved?
Last night, throughout London, 8 burglaries occurred at precisely 8 p.m.
In London, burglaries are as common as politicians and postmen. What makes these so noteworthy?
Because you recently visited each site while investigating 8 seemingly unrelated cases. What's more, in each burglary, nothing was stolen. Instead, the burglar left behind a small clock.
A curious incident, to be sure. But are you certain it has anything to do with me?
Oh, positively. You see, also, at precisely 8 p.m., someone delivered a 9th clock to Scotland Yard. It arrived with no information about the sender, but an envelope attached was addressed for Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
What was in the envelope?
Only one sheet of paper. Written on it was the locations of all 8 burglaries, plus a strange list of meaningless shapes.
Nothing is ever meaningless. Show me the paper, Lestrade. The list of places does suggest some of our recent cases. The second list, of random shapes, suggests that our backward burglar left behind more than just a clock at each crime scene. There's a larger game at work here, and I must discover who has set the board for us. Come, Watson. We're off on a treasure hunt.
Okay, so we need to go to each location and find the items that have been left behind. Interesting. So here we're looking for, looks like a Bobby's helmet and a pistol. Okay, so how do we know which one is which one goes with which? That's the question I have, is how do we know which one really belongs in which scene? Alright, there's the gun. That revolver is identical to the one used to murder the actor at the Piccadilly Theatre. Right. Now you would think that the helmet would be... Well, it might not be a helmet. It might be a bell. That's the problem with the shapes, is it's not necessary, you're not actually telling us what it is we're looking for. Oh, it's a clock? I didn't see that at all. Okay, an arrow and... Oh, okay, so each of them has a clock. Right. Okay. The arrow is exactly like the one that killed Brigadier Escott. And don't forget, we also need to keep an eye out for Holmes's cap. A common street parlance, a yarn is a story, a tall tale. Apparently, our generous burglar reads your contributions to Strand Magazine, Doctor. All right, there's the clock. Seance room. Here we're looking for a bottle. I'm not seeing Holmes's cap. I'm worried that we missed it in the one that I just kind of sped through. That's one of the red wine bottles we found during the case of the Duckland spy. Okay, backstage in the theater, I have no idea what the hell that is. I have no clue as to what the hell that is. That mummified hand must have been stolen from the Egyptology lab at the British Museum. And this one looking for a cup of tea. Probably from the one with the golden dragon. And again, kind of look around for Holmes's cap. Still not seeing one. That's one of the cups from the Chinese tea shop we visited during the case of the porcelain dragon. Right, the porcelain dragon. That's what it was. Condemned man. Right, there's the clock. And a coffee grinder? These shapes are not very easy to tell what it is they're looking for. Okay, there it is. That's a well of Indian ink, the finest, most expensive ink available. A mysterious stranger used this to write the message that led us here. Okay, there's Holmes's cap. Cool, we've got it. All right, so there's that, and... Why the clocks? What do they mean? And an oboe? That oboe is one of the orchestra instruments from the Royal Music Academy.
While we're here gathering oddities, at the heart of London, 8 ambassadors must try to pull Europe back from the brink of war. International treaties are in peril, and the conference at Parliament is the world's only hope.
From what Lestrade told us, it sounds as though the ambassadors' conference is guarded by an army. No madman would dare attempt to put their lives in danger.
A madman, no, but a criminal mastermind. One who would know how to profit from the chaos following some great act of multiple assassination. I wonder. Let's get these back to Baker Street immediately.
If there's a meaning to this assortment, I confess that I'm baffled. T for teacup, I for Indian ink. Holmes, what if the first letter of each object is part of a single word? If we unscramble the word, we might have a clue to whomever is behind this. Brilliant, Doctor. You're indeed a man of letters. Okay, Okay, so it clicks when we have the right one. Ah, okay. Moriarty. Aha, yep.
Just as I feared. The Napoleon of crime himself, ex-Professor Moriarty, mastermind of the entire criminal underworld of London, sitting like a spider at the center of an evil, deadly web. Watson, while we've been diverted elsewhere, the 8 foreign ambassadors gathering at the Houses of Parliament are in mortal danger.
But where is Moriarty? How can we stop him?
The clocks. Each of his 8 burglars left behind a clock, and he had a 9th clock delivered to me via Scotland Yard. The man has nerve and a gaming spirit. What's the most famous clock in London?
The clock tower at Westminster Palace. At the Houses of Parliament. Big Ben. The ambassadors' conference is there at 8 o'clock this evening. That's just 1 hour from now.
Then I say we best be on our way.
I knew you would find me, Holmes. You could never resist such a novel puzzle. Alas, with this crossing of our paths, I have taken measures that, even with all your cleverness, you cannot avoid.
What is this trickery you speak of?
At 8 o'clock, the explosive I have set here in this room will dispatch the ambassadors in Parliament, along with Her Majesty, sparking an international scandal that should throw the entire world into a war the likes of which has never been seen or even thought of before.
What could you possibly gain from such an act of deviltry?
As I'm sure your simple friend may not know, there is much power and money to be gained when invested in the art of war.
I have served in war and seen the likes of things your evil mind could not comprehend. But alas, how could you expect to gain from that of which you cannot predict the outcome?
I rest my case, my dear Watson. Yes, I know of the yarns you weave for the Strand. I find them quite informative. However, like your friend here, you seem to underestimate the full extent of my organization. You always stand to gain in war if you are invested in both sides.
You shall not succeed at this.
What you need to worry about now, Mr. Holmes, is if you will succeed. You cannot pursue me lest you ignore the trap I have set here. If you do that, then I will have already won. So, with that, I bid you our final adieu.
Holmes, he's getting away.
Let him go, Watson. For now, we must play his game.
Right. I'm afraid this technology is beyond my experience as a doctor and veteran, Holmes. I once completed a monograph upon the subject of electrochemical cells and their potential uses, particularly in the area of telegraphy. But I must say, these are of a design I have not seen before. Nevertheless, we must sever the connection without disrupting the circuit, for I fear our game will come to an abrupt end. Right. Sequence of tiles will be displayed in the window. Repeat the Morse code. Okay. Okay, that was pretty easy. That could be considered the most important wire you've ever sent, wouldn't you say? Perhaps. In a selfish way at the least. However, the circuit persists in a different direction. We must press on, Watson. Okay, place the gears so that the two golden gears are connected and spinning in the correct direction. Right. There we go. It's always easier to work backwards, like stuff like that. Good show, Holmes. If we can redirect the current one more time, I think we can completely sever the connection without disrupting the circuit. Move the copper plate into the slot right. Okay. That's pretty easy. By the grace of God, I think we may safely say that the imminent threat of this infernal device has passed us, Watson. I bless the day that Stamford introduced us, Holmes. My blushes, Watson. But Moriarty is still at large, and the strike of 8 will surely elicit an alternate fiendish plan. But what will he do? As always, a large question, Watson. As I have said before, when you have one of the first brains of Europe up against you and all the powers of darkness at his back, there are infinite possibilities. Let us see if we can gain a position on him from our current vantage point. Search the location using the magnifying glass to find all of Moriarty's henchmen who are dressed all in black. Be careful of the innocent bystanders. Selecting them will result in time penalty. Okay. There we go. Got 'em all.
As I suspected, Moriarty has positioned himself to receive the Queen should she emerge from Parliament after 8 o'clock.
By Jove, Holmes, it's nearly 8 now. We haven't a moment to lose.
Good heavens! The both of you look downright frightful.
Inspector, I recommend you secure the area forthwith.
If it were anyone but you, Holmes, I would pay no attention. If you will excuse me.
This is intolerable. While you save Her Majesty's life, Moriarty escapes taking all the evidence with him. If not for Inspector Lestrade's report, you would look like a raving madman. The people should know what you did today.
On the contrary, Doctor, general knowledge of this incident would inflame all manner of public unrest. No, a successful conclusion is its own deliciously stimulating reward.
As you wish. but you deserve some credit nonetheless.
Not entirely, I'm afraid. You see, while in the clock tower, I made an error that, if found out, could bring chaos to all of London.
An error? Chaos? Whatever do you mean?
Big Ben, my friend, now runs 3 minutes fast. My apologies, but I'm a detective, not a clock repairman. Best we keep that between ourselves, don't you agree, old friend? Congratulations!
Okay, so that's got that, and we do have the bonus game now. The bonus game is... oh, it's one of these. Okay. These puzzles are not that tricky, honestly. I mean, if you go at it just, okay, all one color, find out where the right one is, and then just go color by color, yeah, you can find it in less than 12 easily. So, all right, that concludes the Lost Cases of Sherlock Holmes. Now, there was a sequel to this called The Lost Cases of 221B. And we may go ahead and grab that one and start playing that. I may put it off a couple weeks just to kind of let other stuff come in. We'll see how things go. Until then, as always, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to press the subscribe button down below so that you can stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions.
If you wanna see some crazy,
Cheerio!
so lazy, then you should meet me and my friends. Even though we got no money,
At the airport, a lady catches his eye, and he tries his best pickup line.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Absolutely not.
The biggest point in this case is the delayed system of viewing did not deprive the copyright owners of revenue.